You guys, honestly, this game was so annoying. It was so annoying because, again, another self-inflicted defeat. We've done this twice against Liverpool. We've done it twice against Man United. And of course, we completed the party against Man City. And it's so annoying because, in this game today, I saw a lot of good positives. I saw bravery. We took the game to Man City. We weren't afraid. We were winning all our second balls. Our intensity was greater than Man City's at times. We caused them a lot of issues. They couldn't play their standard game. And it's like, if we didn't make those stupid mistakes, our Man City easily getting back in the game, I'm not too sure. For me, it felt like everything good Man City did came from a fault from ourselves. And I understand, you guys. I know the context of this season. Honestly, I get it. But, I'll let you guys know it's a match review, so I need to be honest in my reaction after the game. I know by the time I watch the game again and by tomorrow, of course, now my perspective, I've got perspective, you guys. That's going to come into full effect. So for that reason, the player ratings video is going to come out tomorrow instead because I want to watch the game again and see things from a clear perspective. But, I can't take away how I felt. It felt like another self-inflicted defeat, and it's quite obvious why we'll eventually have to go into the market to try and replace players and upgrade certain players. Still though, I want to focus on some positives before I speak about the game in general. A massive positive today was Kovacic. Now, for me, he really showed why he's one of the best midfield players in the country right now. Simply unplayable at times. I mean, the way he moves the ball, his press resistance, Man City could not get close to him at all. It looked like he was playing a completely different game. Some of the pieces of skill he pulled off were really impressive today, and he was taking a lot of chances, but because Kova is a great player, he can afford to do them. So it was no surprise that he played an exquisite, amazing pass over the top to N'Golo Kante. Perfect weight, perfect backspin. And that's why it was easy for Kante to control the ball and hit it past Ederson. And throughout that game today, everything good we did mostly came from Kova. In that first 25-30 minutes, which was our best spell throughout the entire game, the spell where we really dominated Man City, that came down to Kova and Jorginho's relationship. That press resistance that Kova brings to the team is such a unique aspect. What can you do? Once he's beaten you, there's tons of space left him behind because he takes the midfield out the game. And that was why I think Pulisic played over Mason Mount. I want to let you guys know very quickly, my match preview, I did not have Pulisic in the team because he wasn't good enough. I was just thinking, okay, I'm trying to think what Lampard's trying to do against Man City where we have to be on point off the ball and on the ball. I assumed that he'd go for Mason Mount. But of course, you guys, in that first half, you can see why Pulisic played because with the space that Kova created between the lines, Pulisic was able to move more in field. And when he was on the ball, he looked dangerous. The annoying thing with Pulisic was that he was not calling for the ball enough. At times, I'm always looking at his off-the-ball movement. Now, in and around the box, it's amazing. It's really good. He finds the right areas, but sometimes in that build-up phase, I'm looking at Pulisic's positioning and it's like, well, you're moving into no man's land or you're moving into very congested areas. Move to the wide areas, really help the fullback more, make runs in behind, be a bit more direct. And I thought at times it was like he was hiding a tiny bit and it was frustrating because it was like whenever he was on the ball, he looked dangerous. And honestly, you guys, every single time he looked dangerous against Man City was when Pulisic was in the half space, cutting inside. It was a shame that we didn't see him do that enough because he had it in him today. Again, he's a young guy. As he grows and he gets better, I feel like that's something he can overcome. Every young player in this team does have a weakness they can improve upon. So let's keep it consistent for every single one. But as I'm saying, he looked very promising when he had the ball. It's a shame that he didn't command the ball as much. But you know what? I'm trying to think of more positives. I thought Kante looked good. Some nice pieces of skill from Kante. I thought that he tried to help out, offensively as well. He took his goal very well. But I'm starting to worry now that whenever Kante scores a goal, this season in particular, well, we never get the win. We don't get the 3 points. So maybe I don't care about Kante scoring anymore. But dead jokes aside, you guys, Kante, there's a reason why I've always seen him as the second coming of Michael Essien, because I knew that if he really worked on his game and improved all aspects of it, I mean, this guy's the new Michael Essien, and this season, that's what I'm seeing. I keep getting flashbacks to Essien. Kante's looking incredible, and it's a shame that with all the efforts he put in today, he wasn't on the winning team. And maybe one player that we'd have to blame for that, even though, listen, it's not fair to scapegoat anyone. I'm not about that life, but he made some glaring mistakes today, and that was none other than Jorginho. Now, during the first 25-30 minutes, he looked very good alongside Kova, but then he had a weird moment where he played a very sloppy pass to Tammy. And then this is what Jorginho does. I've seen him do this time and time again. And that's not me implying he makes mistakes time and time again, no. But when Jorginho does make a mistake, it's like all he sees is red. And he gets in this purely reactionary mental state of mind where he's like, I need to win this ball back by any means I can. And, when he did that today, he went in for a very silly slide tackle. And it's like, of course, that's what De Bruyne wants. I mean, you're playing against Man City. You've got to be a lot smarter than that. By doing that, De Bruyne was very easily able to skip past you, taking you out of the game, freeing up space for him to attempt a shot. And very unfortunately, of course, a double deflection goal, as always. I mean, how many deflected goals are we constantly conceding? It's annoying, and it's just like, Jorginho kept his calm and just cooled down. All he had to do was just get there and just keep his position, stand up. Try and show De Bruyne to the outside. Don't make it easy for Kevin De Bruyne, who's got how many assists and how many goals this season. I mean, come on. And I kind of felt like after that moment where Jorginho knew he messed up, but he never really reacted after that. After that, I thought his passing was quite tepid. It was very safe, and he was making a few more mistakes after that moment, picking up a yellow card. And of course, in that second half, it was only natural that Lampard took him off to bring on Mason Mount. But you guys, that opening 30 minutes, I was seeing some beautiful football. When we play against Man City, traditionally, under guys like Mourinho, Sarri, Kante, when have we ever played against Man City like this? I mean, the last time we played well against Man City away was when we beat them 3-1 in Conte's first season. But even then, we were defending very deep for a majority of the game. This game today, it felt like Man City were the away team at times. We had more possession than them for quite a bit of the game. We were really imposing our game on Man City. Man City were the ones playing on the counter, looking to keep their shape. And Man City couldn't cope. They couldn't cope with our intensity, our pressing. There weren't many second balls. So, to allow them back in the game, because that's what we did. We allowed them back in the game through Jorginho's mistakes. And the second one, coming from Emerson and Kova, I looked at that moment time and time again. For me, it's a collective mistake. I can see what Emerson's thinking, but I think maybe Kova should have given him better support. And what ended up happening when these guys were too tight was that I think each player expected the other one to deal with the situation. And of course, in these no-man land situations, no one wins, no one comes out on top. And Mahrez with a very simple cut inside and a very simple finish. I'm just thinking, Kepa, he couldn't have done a bit better. Where else was the ball going to be going? And maybe, as I'm speaking of Kepa, let me just get this guy out of the way, but he's looking really disappointing. We spent 70 million to sign a keeper who's exquisite on the ball. And today, let's keep it real, Edison made mistakes of his own. Both teams with how they press, pressing right up to, even prevent goal kicks from happening. It was going to be difficult for every player today, but when you compare Edison, how many accurate passes did he play out from deep? And when it came to Kepa, we didn't see that. A sloppy pass to the defenders where Aguero should have made it 3-1. He had an off day today. I saw a lot of Man City players having off days. Sterling, I forgot he was playing until that moment right at the end. Another Kepa incident, by the way. And of course, guys like your De Bruyne's, I thought he was quite quiet. Aguero's, most of these guys weren't really in it today. So this is what makes the game even more frustrating. But, going back to Kepa again, you guys, at not one point did he use his passing range to find a single man. It never came off. And you're just thinking, he's showing signs of weakness where he lacks concentration at times. Maybe when he was at Athletic Bilbao, where he's getting tested every 5 minutes, that's what Kepa likes. That's what keeps him mentally sharp. But when you're playing for the big boys, when you're stepping up to play for us, it's a completely different game, You aren't going to be tested non-stop like other keepers do. It means that when something does happen, you have to be alert and you need to be ready. And he's showing that he's not. And the annoying thing was that as the season was going on, it felt like Kepa was a guy that really grew into the game as it went on. But right now, regardless of whether he starts the game or ends it, he's not looking strong and he's looking kind of weak. And, even that moment in the end, thank God that VAR came through to help us, but more weak goalkeeping. And it would have been a pretty undeserved 3-1 win to Man City, completely against the run of play. And if that did happen, we would have effectively given Man City 3 goals today. And of course, if you're Lampard, it's frustrating because what can you do really? This is where you need the market now, to replace squad players with, better ones on the market. That's what we need. But yeah, I'm trying to think of more positives. One positive today was Azpilicueta, and a game like this, I need to accept. I'll admit, I need to accept why Aspi is going to play in games like this because, it's for the moments. How many crucial blocks, crucial interceptions, crucial headers won, crucial tackles did Aspi make in the game today? He played on the right and on the left. It's not an easy thing to do, and I thought he came out on top. Not once did I see a single winger get past him, and it makes you think maybe if restarted the game with Aspi playing as a left back where, of course, his stronger foot could go up against Mahrez's, maybe things become a bit different. I thought maybe Lampard should have taken the risk to trust Reece James today. Sterling didn't do a single thing. I completely forgot he was playing today until right at the end. But it was a shame that, in the second half, the intensity just wasn't the same. Now, of course, when Jorginho went off, it meant that we couldn't play out from the back as we tended to do. I'm guessing Kante isn't fully fit just yet. He looks a bit tired. He wasn't coming into the pivot to help cover so we could play out from the back. He wasn't there. So for quite a bit of the second half, it was just pointless passes from our defenders, left to right, left to right. No forward incision because there were no passing options available. So, Lampard would have been disappointed in that effect. But, if you're bringing on someone like a Michy Batshuayi, at least with Tammy Abraham, when Tammy was playing, he was coming short, holding the ball up, playing people in, running in behind, looking like a very good forward. When Michy came on, we saw none of that. And it was like this ridiculous moment where, he managed to play himself off sides for a simple pass. I don't know. It's annoying, and it's like, I really like Michy a lot. He's a great character, and he's a good player, a very good finisher, got great shooting technique. But as the overall package, I sympathise because, listen, if you're not playing week in, week out these past few seasons, then it's no surprise. He hasn't fully progressed in this game. But, it shows us right now that maybe the Kaz appeal is needed. If we can sign some smart buys in this next window, this could really boost our chances of doing something positive for this season. This game really highlighted that right now we can compete, but we're not there. With Man City, if you make a mistake, they're going to score. With us, with all the mistakes Man City made, we never punished them. It was either poor passes to Tammy Abraham, poor decision making in the final third, or poor shots on goal. It proves that we're not at that level to compete for the title just yet, and that's okay. I don't think any of us expected us to do that. It's nice that we can compete from a footballing aspect, because if we apply long-term strategy and long-term perspective, it tells us that as these guys improve and as we add smart acquisitions to this team, then you can imagine us turning these nearly so wins into actual wins. Because I predicted this to happen. I predicted that we would not be clinical enough and we'd give 3 goals to Man City through our own individual mistakes. And at this point, what can Lampard do? There's only so much he can do with the players available to you right now. And listen, these guys show that they have ability and they can play, but we're not at that level just yet where we can fully win things and fully compete. But you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the player ratings video and the talking points video.